My name is Jenny Liao, and I graduated from the Carnegie Mellon School of Computer Science in 2015. I'm a software engineer at Google. The thing that I immediately noticed when I started working at Google is that nobody goes off on their own and does something. Everything is created by teams. And it can be a team of 2 or 3 or 5, or even a team of 30, which is broken up into more teams. Because Google does everything on mass scale, nothing is small. So everything is built to be distributable, to be scalable, and everything is a distributed, difficult problem, and it's all solved by large teams of very intelligent people. I remember being struck very much when I first started by the collaborative nature of Google. I was doing my starter project. When you start, they give you kind of a small project to get you acclimated to the technologies and the working environment. And some Google employee that I didn't know who he was, he had no stake in my project, he was in a different office, took 2 or 3 hours out of his day to help me solve my problem with my project. And I was so shocked. I thought, why would somebody take hours out of their day to help me when they literally have no stake in my career or my project? And that's a pretty common theme at Google, I think, is that we're all about teamwork. Currently, I'm working on a project that is being built by almost our entire vertical organization. So we have teams in Mountain View, in New York, in Pittsburgh, in Zurich, in Hamburg, Germany, all working on this one large project. And so our huge team is made of tens of people, but they're each broken into smaller teams. So my immediate small team is 4 or 5 people. And then in my office, my team is about 13 people. And then total, we have a lot more people. So everything is done in teams. Every daily task that I do goes into a larger picture that my team is working on. So we want people who are able to approach problems in different ways, from different viewpoints, and to consider alternatives. Another thing we'll look for are individuals who can work well under ambiguity or changing goalposts. Because everything's always evolving, and we know that in real life, everything always changes. In school, when you get a problem set, the problem is well-defined, nothing changes, right? In real life, when you're working on problems, things change all the time, and needs change all the time as well. So we want to look for individuals that can not only solve the technical problem up front, but can adjust their thinking to take account of new restrictions or new needs. So that's something to look for is, can you adapt under ambiguous circumstances? And another big one, of course, is teamwork. When we interview and we kind of do in-person screenings, one thing we look for is this somebody I would want to work with on a day-to-day basis? And you want the answer to be yes. Because no matter how intelligent somebody is, if they're difficult to work with, it's kind of a deal breaker, right? Because if you don't want them on your team, we have no right to say, well, you should take them on your team. We want to hire people that we want to work with, that are smart, that can think on their feet. And I think another thing we'll look for is passion. We want people who are passionate about what they do and want to make a difference. I had a probability class, and several of my friends were in the same class. And it was the first time that our group had taken a class together, and we decided to do homework together every week. And that was such a good experience. I'm still in contact with that group of friends, actually, even though everyone is kind of in a different location now. But we still get together, we're in the same location. And I think what made that group really good was that everyone was committed to working through the problems together, and nobody was going to be left behind. So if one person got a solution, they would kind of help the other teammates come along. And it was kind of this, there was, I think, a baseline level of trust among the teammates that we're in it together and that we're going to help each other finish. And so it was a really good bond. And I personally, I know, really looked forward to working with that group every week. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to do probability homework tonight, and it's going to be fun. And so that was something that was an experience I think, hold dear to my heart. Part of what made that awesome group so fun was that I know I can say things even if it might be wrong, and nobody would judge me for it. And we would still work through it together. And so that trust and familiar environment and feeling of safety was really important.